Dear students, in the last lecture, we started talking about the integumentary system and its derivatives. And I explained the structure of mammalian skin, which consists of epidermis and dermis, and then the components of epidermis, that was stratum germinativum or stratum malpighi, lying on the basement membrane, and in between the transitional layers, and the topmost, which is where the cytoplasm and nucleus replaced by the keratin horny layer, which is called as stratum corneum. And then we talked about the certain derivatives, that was hair as well as certain glands. In the dermis, that was the broader layer, that is a connective tissue, and it has collagen fibers bundles as well as the branched yellow fibers giving it elasticity, and collagen fibers for giving toughness, certain blood vessels, lymph vessels, and underneath dermis is the subcutaneous layer, which is mainly composed of adipose tissue. So that was about the mammalian skin. Then we talked about the comparative account of skin in case of where we talked about the simplest kind of skin which we observed in branchiostoma, and then we had talked about cyclostomus, skin of cyclostomes. That example was petromyzone, where they have a distinct advancement over the branchiostoma epidermis that has become stratified, you can see, but the topmost layer is still living, and that gives rise to the cuticle, and dermis is thinner as compared to epidermis, consists of connective tissue fiber, blood vessels, etc. And then it had mycometa, vertical strands, which interrupted horizontal bands of collagen fibers in dermis. Now the skin of fish. So in case of skin of fish, let's talk about skin of fish. Fish integument, it is practically very similar to cyclostomes, and here the stratum germinativum, that consists of almost cuboidal cells. So how they look like, they would be, if we draw the stratum, that is the dermis of the fish, that is like cuboidal epithelia resting on the basement membrane. This is the basement membrane, and these are the epithelial cells which are more or less cuboidal. And furthermore, these cells, they are arranged in many layers, hence it is stratified. We call it as stratified, which has already started this change in nature. Stratification has already started in cyclostomes, and so it is observed in fishes also. And furthermore, these cuboidal cells, this is the scale of the fish, which has dermal region. We'll talk about that later. So the layers, these keratinization that occurs in the outer layer, so that the cells are much alike. A little flattening or keratinization, it occurs in the outer layers. So more or less they are almost similar to the rest of the layers. They are although flattened, and surface layer cells have nuclei, which clearly indicates the topmost layer that is living and quite active to secrete a thin layer of overlying cuticle. So here it is the cuticle, and this is the striated epithelium. The cuticle checks the entry of microorganisms and plays a role in micro and osmoregulation. However, some bony fishes, they develop patches of horny layer in between cornified epidermis, which is termed as pearl organ. Right? During the breeding season, epidermis also contains certain unicellular glands. So in between you can make those unicellular glands. So I'll just show you with a different pen how these look like. So like these are the unicellular glands which interrupt in between, but important is that they are just made up of single cell. The role is to they secrete the mucus. So you just write down that these are the unicellular mucus glands. These are the mucus glands. Furthermore, dermis that consists of connective tissue. So here lies the dermis. This is dermis interrupted by the scale, and it is composed of connective tissue. This whole is connective tissue. There are blood vessels. There are smooth muscle fibers here and there, and also there are nerves present in between. And the white collagen fibers, they generally predominate and they run parallel to the surface of the skin. So you make it like this. These are the collagen fibers. Collagen fibers that run parallel to the skin and they are dominant. And furthermore, fibers are sparse in the outer region, as you can see, and they are more compact in the inner region. So outer region, that is called as stratum lexum, while the inner region having more compactly arranged these fibers, that is called as stratum compactum. Means compact layer. Dermis contains chromatophores, melanophores, xanthophores, and erythrophores and guanophores very near to the let's say base of the epidermis. So you can make these telet shaped cells, star shaped cells, which are these are the chromatophores, and these impart the typical color to the skin. And various colors, they are produced by a combination of these different type of chromatophores and various degree of dispersion of the pigment granules. The control of skin color, it is hormonal in elasmobranchs, that is cartilaginous fish, and that is neuronal in teleost fish, that is bony fish. Dermis contains the scales of various kinds, as I made one. It has the structure much like the tooth-like structure, mammalian tooth-like structure it has. When we do the digestive system, the things would be clear to you, which is lined by, let's say it is externally lined by vitrodentine, and then inner to this layer is the dentine or dentine, and it has, of course, it has a pulp cavity in the center, like that what we see in the tooth, which is lined by the odontoblast, layer of odontoblast and all that. So that is the structure of the skin in fish. Now the structure of skin in amphibians. In case of amphibians, the amphibian skin is quite smooth, moist, slimy, that fits loosely onto the body. It is highly permeable, and both water and gases, they radially pass through it. However, it controls the movement of other compounds. Frog-like similar to the freshwater fishes, it also absorbs water through the skin instead of drinking it. And epidermis, it consists of many layers. So here we make the epidermis. Let's say this is the epidermis. It is composed of more or less cuboidal cells, and as I said, it is stratified epithelium. So we'll be making 4-5 layers of these cells, cuboidal cells, having a rounded nuclei. And the difference is that because it has at least 5 to 8 layers of these epithelial cells. This is the epidermis. Only the outermost layer that forms the stratum corneum, which has turned out to be more flattened. And now what is the reason behind it? This is the stratum corneum or the horny layer, because it has adapted to the land lifestyle. Because it has amphibians, they have dual lifestyle. They are present they visit water or they revisit water, and they live on land. So dual lifestyle they are living, so they have to compensate that and that is an adaptation to land life to protect the body against injury, and also to check the excessive loss of water. So the body wall, that the layer, skin layer, it becomes waterproof. And because of having thin stratum corneum, frog, it seeks the aquatic or moist habitat. Whereas if you compare frog with the toad is more terrestrial than frog because of the heavy cornification of epidermis and its body. It has cornified warts. The toads have cornified warts. These are present in the toads. Toads have more slimy skin, whereas frogs have comparatively slimier skin in comparison to the toads. Stratum corneum, that forms sensory papillae in frog. So this is the stratum corneum, the topmost layer. Stratum corneum, it is shed at times in shreds which are called as exuviae. Right, exuviae. And this particular process of shedding off is called as shedding of stratum corneum, topmost layer. It is called as molting or ecdysis, and it occurs about once a month during active season, and it is under hormonal control. The cornified cells, although they are not dead, and they secrete certain hormones that retard the cell division in stratum germinativum, because as long as this layer is there, it is going to secrete certain kind of hormone which would prevent the formation of new cells from stratum germinativum. And when there is lack of this hormone, a lack of hormone after molting, means at the time of molting this layer is shed off, and of course obviously that particular hormone that controls the division in stratum germinativum or checks the division in stratum germinativum, that is no longer there, and hence the stratum germinativum is going to add more layers through the cell division. So this is the basement membrane that separates the epidermis from that of the underlying dermis. So below epidermis lies the dermis, and that is the dermis. There is a clear demarcation by this basement membrane between epidermis and dermis, and it has more complicated structure. The dermis is relatively thin as compared to the in the amphibians, and it shows two regions. The outer, which is the loose one, this region, it is called as stratum spongiosum. This portion is called as stratum spongiosum, while the inner layer, that is more compact, it contains unusually abundant blood vessels, lymph spaces, etc., etc., and of course it has bands of collagen fibers in between. So these are the bands of collagen fibers. There are horizontal bands, and also these are interrupted by these vertical strands also of collagen, and these are this particular layer, the lower layer, it is called as stratum compactum. So there are abundant blood vessels in between. These are the blood vessels I'm making, and also the lymph spaces. These are the lymph spaces, and dermis consists of predominantly bands of collagen fibers. The lymphless amphibians, they have minute dermal scales. The dermis is rich in multicellular glands. That is an important point. The dermis, it is rich in multicellular glands which actually arise from the epidermis. So this is I'm making this gland making. This is the multicellular gland, and this is a cutaneous gland.